Nature is beautiful. It's our responsibility as residents of the earth to keep it that way. And one way this is done is by controlling the animal population with humane methods of containment. And this is one man's way of fulfilling this need.
The main purpose is population control and disease control, and to sell the fur, which is very fashionable in a lot of foreign countries, and it's unfortunate it's not fashionable here. I caught my first muskrat when I was 12, I believe, and I'm 59 now, so you guys do the math. My cousins, I had everybody in my family on my father's side, a lot of them trapped, and so on my mom's side, so it was, and my cousins who were my mentors, they were like 5, 6 years older than I was, so I tagged along with them wherever they went, and they kind of showed me. I trapped beaver, and beaver are, they're very valuable, very beautiful fur. They block waterways around here. The county actually hires me to go in and eliminate beaver that are blocking culverts and flooding roads. Muskrats are valuable for ours also. They're, the benefit is the population control mainly, and they do some damage to banks and people around people's homes where they dig their dens into the bank. Mink is more of a population control, and they're very valuable for coyotes. I trap they're valuable fur, but control the population so they don't. They actually prey on livestock if they get too plentiful. Hogs in particular around here. Red fox, they're very valuable fur. They're just a real neat animal. They're my favorite animal. They'll overpopulate real easy also and get mange if they're overpopulated. And that's ugly. Raccoons, I trap a lot of raccoons. There's a lot of raccoons. They're at a peak level now. They need harvested real bad. They're everywhere. I know when people hear the word trapping, they think of the cartoon where the great big trap with teeth in it. That's the furthest thing from the truth. We only use traps that are equal to the power of the animal and the size of the animal that we're after. So it's very species specific, and we set our traps up so it'll hold them but it won't hurt them. Put a lot of swivels on the chains, and we make thicker jaws, and we only use as much power as needed to hold them. Imagine this animal lives in miles of territory, and I have to make them step on that pan. So you have to know the habits of the animals real well and exploit their territorial instincts and their hunger. I had a beaver. I was doing damage control, just to give you an example, doing damage control locally, and a beaver somebody else had been in there before me, and they had tried to trap this beaver. It was damming up a culvert going to a road, causing a big problem, flooding a lot of property, and threatening the road actually. And this beaver, I used a body gripping trap. That's what I usually use for beaver. And I found where he was swimming into the dam to rebuild it, and he would not go through the trap. I think he knew more about a body gripping trap than I did. After a week of cat and mouse with a body gripping trap, I put a snare in. He got caught in the snare and pulled the stake, and he got the snare off. But a week later, I put a foothold trap in, and I finally caught him in the foothold trap. And it was just like a 2-week ordeal. Usually it takes 1 day or 2 days. You know, everybody buys their meat at the store now, and they're so far removed from the natural way of life that they forget where they came from, because we were all hunters and gatherers at one time, and that's the only way we had to survive. Just because I do it in modern times doesn't make it any different. But we're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to cut animals' legs off. We don't have blood dripping from our fingers any more than anybody else does. Everybody has to live and everybody has to die. It's the same with animals.
Our planet's ecosystem is very delicate, and trapping is just one way to help maintain the fragile balance.